Today we are going to learn about what are the types of the classes and what are the test for those class. Okay, so the topic for today is types of classes and test for them. The class, test for the class. So I will not directly jump and say you that this is the type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4. We will try to see this in a different way, okay, which will be easy for you to remember. So we will start with type 3. First we will see what are the base for the classification of class. Okay, the base for the classification of classes is reactivity. If the class is highly reactive, it will be categorized as type 4. If the class is low reactive, it will be categorized as type 1. The class which is having less reactivity, we call it as type 1 class. The class which is having more reactivity, we call it as type 4 class. So depending on your reactivity, class is been classified as type 1, type 2, type 3 and type 4. Type 1 is been least reactive, type 4 is been more reactive. So to start with the explanation of the glass, we'll take type 3 glass, which we call it as general purpose soda lime gas. So type 3 glass is made up of your soda, we call it as soda lime glass. Okay, this glass, what is the main composition of the glass? See, in the glass generally we have silicon. Silicon is the main component of the glass. Along with the silicon we'll be having potassium oxide, calcium oxide, barium oxide, etc. So depending on the percentage of those potassium, calcium and barium oxide and many things, the types of the glass will be vary. The soda lime glass, the problem with the soda lime glass is, if you take this glass, type 3 glass, pour some solution in this glass, okay, if you keep that solution for some time, this glass will try to impart alkalinity. Means this glass will give, or it will raise the pH of your solution which is being kept in this glass, because it has more leaching substance which will increase the alkalinity of the glass. The substance present in this soda lime glass will leach into that solution which you have been kept in the glass, and they will increase the alkalinity, or you can say pH of the glass. So it is highly, okay, it is reactive. This glass is reactive, okay. It will increase the pH of the solution which is being kept in this glass. Now to avoid this problem, what we'll do, we will try to take type 3 glass, which is soda lime glass, treat with sulfates. What this sulfate will do is, whatever the alkaline substance present on the surface, it will try to mask that alkalinity of the surface, alkalinity of the glass, type 3 glass. Hence the glass will become less, it will impart less alkalinity to the solution which is been kept in this glass. So we get the type of glass from the treatment of type 3 glass is type 2 glass, that is treated, because it is been treated with sulfates, we call it treated. Which type of glass? Type 3 glass, or you can say soda lime, because type 3 is a soda lime glass. You can call it as type 2 is a treated type 3, treated with sulfates. What these sulfates will do is, they will form a layer at the surface of the glass. Due to this layer, there will be less leaching or less increase in alkalinity. What do you mean by that is, if you keep your solution in type 2 glass, this will impart less alkalinity, because all the alkaline substance or all the alkaline chemicals which is present at the surface of the glass is being treated by your sulfates. It will impart less alkalinity compared to type 3 glass. Okay. Next is take that same type 3 glass, try to add boron or sodium borate. Try to replace that glass, content of that glass with boron or sodium borate. Okay, so the more content, the more you replace that with boron, the glass will become more and more resistant to the any type of reaction. So you will get, after a treatment with the boron, we will get type 1 glass. Okay, and because the main content of the glass, for if you take a glass, the main content is silicon. Silicon is the main content of the glass, as I said in the earlier. Hence the name is coined for this, like keep that silicon here and we treat it with boron. Hence the name is borosilicate, because we are treating that with boron and the glass main content is silicon, so we call it as type 1 as borosilicate glass. And this type of glass are more resistance. Okay, you can use this glass for parenterals, and type 2 can be also used for parenterals aqueous solutions. Type 3 we can't use for parenteral aqueous solution. You can use it for parenteral oil solutions, because in the oil the leaching of the glass will be very less. The next type is, again take type 3, try to add metal oxide. Try to add metal oxide in the type 3 and try to add silicon also. Okay, more and more silicon dioxide, or you can say sodium silicate, and remove lead from the glass. So when we call it as a lead free glass. So if you add metal oxide, depending on the metal oxide you will get color. If you add ferric oxide, you get red color, like that, depending on the metal oxide. If you add copper, you get blue or green color. So if you want to impart the color to the glass, you add metal oxide to the type 3 glass, you will get this. If you add silicon, more and more silicates, okay, your glass will become more hydrophobic. The glass will become more hydrophobic. Okay, this all type of glass we call them as type 4. This type of glass are more reactive compared to type 3. Type 3 is more reactive compared to type 2. Type 2 is more reactive compared to type 1. Because type 3 is being treated with boron, it will become more and more unreactive. We call it as type 1, that is borosilicate. We treat this type 3 glass with sulfate, hence we call it as treated soda lime glass, or you can say treated type 2 glass is type 3 glass is type 2 glass. Okay, then type 3 is soda lime. Type 4 is this type of glasses. Okay, so we call it a general purpose glass. Type 4 is a general purpose glass. Okay, so this is what the classification of glass. Next we will see what are the test for the glasses. So there are 3 types of tests for the glasses. So one is powdered glass test, then water attack test, and then is hydrolytic test. See, the main reason for doing this test is, as I told you, the glass is, we classify the glass depending on their reactivity, that is how much alkalinity they impart to the solution which has been kept in that. So we need to see what is the percentage of alkalinity being imparted to that solution. Okay, what is the percentage of alkalinity being imparted? So for that, what we'll do, first test is we'll take the glasses. We'll try to take as the name suggests, powder glass test. We take that glass, we crush the glass, okay, take them, crush them, and make them powder, pass them till the sieve number 50. You crush them till it pass through the sieve number 50. From that, take 10 grams of the glass. For this 10 grams you add acetone. Why we are adding acetone? If there in case if there is any grease or oily substance present within the glass, we don't want that to present in the glass, so we treat this 10 grams of the glass with the acetone. Then what will you do? We'll take that powders. Okay, after treating with the acetone, take the powder, dry it, glass powders, dry it, then add this powder to a conical flask. Add this powder to a conical flask in which we have water. Okay, we have water in this. Then heat them. Why we are heating? We want to know how much of the alkalinity is being imparted, or it is going to get into the solution of your substance solution, the substance which is kept in the glass. So for that, what we are doing, total alkalinity we are trying to see of the glass. For that, we will crush the glass. To increase the surface area of the glass, reactivity, surface area of the glass, what we will do, we crush the glass into small particles. If you crush the glass into small particles, the surface area will increase. Now from that surface it start leaching. Okay, the glass, because it contains some alkaline substance, it will leach. This alkaline substance will leach more fast if you powder them. Overall alkalinity I want to see. Here I want to see the overall alkalinity. Hence what I will do, I will crush them, powder them, treat with the acetone. Why we are adding acetone? In case if there is a presence of any oil or grease, we try to add the acetone in that. Okay, then we heat them. Why we are heating them? If we heat, due to heat, the reaction or the coming of your alkaline substance into the solution will increase. The rate of entering of alkaline substance into the solution will increase. Hence we heat this. Okay, after heating, we titrate. We want to know how much alkalinity it has been imparted. Okay, we titrate this heated and cooled water with 0.02 normal sulfuric acid and note down the values. So with the strong acid, we will try to treat it. So the value should be more for type 3 and type 4, and it should be very, very less for type 2 and type 1. So that what the USP says. Okay, and we also classify the glass depending on the reactivities. Hence we after doing this powder glass test, we assume that the value should be less for type 1 and value should be more for type 3, and we'll try to see what is the, so that value should be within the range. The next test is water attack test. What we'll do here is, we want to know what is the surface alkalinity of the given substance. Further, take that substance which is to whom we have to test, pour water into this substance. Here we are not breaking any glass. Okay, we just pour the water. Okay, fill it up to 90%. Okay, then keep, after filling with the 90%, heat it. Okay, 100 or 120 degrees for 30 minutes or 40 minutes. You need to heat this. Okay, heat this. After heating, again cool this under tap water. Okay, take 10 ml, titrate this 10 ml with 0.02 normal acid, strong acid. Then you will get some values. Why we call it as water attack test? Because you keep water here inside the beaker whose alkalinity need to be tested, and this water will try to attack. Hence we call it as water attack test. Due to that, the alkalinity will be coming into the water which is present in the beaker. This beaker is the beaker which is made up of your what we say that particular glass. Okay, this beaker is made up of a glass whose need to be tested. Okay, the tested glass, the glass which you are going to test, that beaker you are going to take. Okay, this beaker is made up of that glass. Okay, this is called water attack. Here also we try to see what is the alkalinity given by your glass. Okay, type of the glass. Why we call it as the name is water attack? Because we keep water inside. Okay, we don't break inside. Surface alkalinity we are going to try to see here. Okay, we keep water inside and we heat. This water will attack and get that alkalinity into itself, and we try to see how much alkalinity it is giving. For this also we have standard values. So depending on the type of glass, the glass should not give value more than that the standard value. Obviously borosilicate the value will be very less, titration value, and for the type 3 the value will be more. The amount of 0.02 normal H2SO4 consumed will be more for type 3 and less for type 1. Next is hydrolytic test. The name says hydro water lytic breaking. So by keeping the water inside the beaker for a longer time than the test we have done previously, for the longer time, for a prescribed temperature, let's say we keep temperature of 100 to 120 degrees, and you will take a beaker, pour water in this up to 90%. Okay, keep the temperature 100 to 120 degrees for 1 hour. Keep it that same temperature for 1 hour. What happens? This water which is present inside, after keeping to this time, this water will go, heated water will go and try to lysis the chemical present within the glass. Okay, it will break the chemicals which is present in the glass. Those chemical will try to leach into the water after breaking. Okay, so hence the name is called hydrolytic. This will go and break if you are keeping for so much time. Previous test we are keeping for only less time. Here only difference is for hydrolytic test we are keeping that for more time. So temperature is more, time is more, obviously water will go, penetrate, and it will leach, or you can break the chemicals which is present at the surface, which would not happen in the previous case. Okay, so we call it as hydrolytic. Due to this breaking, whatever the substance present at the surface of the glass, it will come inside, and it again they will increase alkalinity. We need to measure the alkalinity by, here in this case we try to measure a 0.1 normal HCl. We try to use 0.1 normal HCl. You can use any acid, but prescribed acid is here 0.1 normal or 1 normal HCl. Okay, so you will get amount of alkalinity being imparted. So all the three types of tests which is been done for the glass, we will try to check how much alkalinity the glass is imparting. Now when you are using some particular glass for particular samples, I think let's say you have taken a blood sample. Okay, so if you keep that blood sample in a particular glass, now what happens if you don't check for the type of the glass and what is the alkalinity that glass is trying to impart, this will change the property of the blood which is kept in that glass, and the results which you are going to test will be different. So to avoid that, we need to test the alkalinity which has been imparted for the glass, and we need to tell that we need to prescribe saying that okay, this type of glass can be used for keeping this type of substance. That's what the main agenda behind this. Okay, I hope you understand. Thank you.